Have you ever met people who shock your belief and change your path? I have. But it wasn't just one person. It was a whole country. Slovenia. There, if you listen closely, you can hear the call of the mountains. For years, almost without noticing, that call slowly enchanted me. Then I felt the need to meet the Slovenian who, like me, had given in to that irresistible sound. They dedicate their work and even their life to those mountains.
I am Žiga Kršinar. I am here from Slovenia. I live in the mountains. My profession is farmer. Producing your own food, growing up with your own children, and have a good, healthy life with healthy food. For me, that's freedom.
When I was about 7 years old, I asked my grandmother if we could have some goats. And then it started. When I'm just calling my animals, they all come and we can scratch them, and they're very thankful for being nice to them.
I started from zero. I had to build everything and I had to buy everything.
And now it's really big farm for our mountain area. We have about 25 hectares of working land and about 6 hectares of wood. Some of the animals on our farm are rescued for a bad condition, but the other animals, we give them very nice living condition, but at the end they are for meat production, that we can live, but we don't have a massive production.
And this is Mura. Murka, because that's her daughter. If all the people on the world should slaughter the animal who are eating, we would eat so less meat, you know. But you can buy a meat in a store. Okay, meat is there. Nobody care about animals. Maybe 100 years ago, all the people were farmers,
and they produce all the food for themselves.
Now the world is made for a global economy. Is not even close to permaculture farming, you know. And that's what corporations want. Because then later you are buying from them. I think the kids in the future, they will see that that's not the life they want.
I'm sure, because they will be sick of this system. I was when I was a kid, but nobody listened, you know. I was like, I don't want this life. And my mother was like,
what are you doing? You are an engineer.
You have to work in a great job
for 10 hours a day and earning about 5,000 euros per month. No, that's not for me. It's very nice when kids are here and a lot of them doesn't know anything about animals. It's very nice to see these kids for touching hand for first time
and eating strawberries from a garden for first time, not from the shop, and they say, oh my God.
It's crazy taste, you know.
So that's why we started with this educational farm, because if you want someone that he is not hungry, you shouldn't give him a fish. You should teach him how to catch a fish, you know. I think that's the only thing in the future that will last.
The massive economy won't last longer.
Okay, guys, I just want to sleep, but I don't have choice, so it's good to start the day.
Can you present yourself? Who you are? What's your name?
I'm Jože Stanko, live from Velenje and working from Golica.
How is it work in a cottage?
Very nice. 6 o'clock in down and then go to toilet and then breakfast and then lunch.
These first hours spent observing and filming truly broke down my initial stereotype. The day are well structured. At 6 o'clock breakfast open with the smell of bacon. Josh puts the pot on the stove and prepare a large pot of food. Between two soup mixing, he can sit down and simply enjoy a good coffee with his colleague. Being a refuge keeper also means living in a place full of history. This refuge, destroyed during the Second World War, was being rebuilt in 1984. This resilience is made possible by love that Slovenians give to mountain and especially this place. In spring, people from all over the world come here to have a drink. Josh lives to the rhythm of the guest. Sometimes many and sometimes none. And they leave plenty and empty stretch alone with yourself.
I'm actually really bored. We don't have anything to do. It's just so beautiful, really relaxing, maybe too much.
Not any noise and just the bird.
Actually, it's amazing, like we are alone in the mountain.
In this immersion, I understood that Josh has accepted that his private life and his work are one and the same. That he has learned to find pleasure in simple things, far from the madness of the city. So, what future is there for this profession in a world that is ever faster, ever more connected? Will the next generation will be able to endure the silence of a simple life? I don't know. For me, it was hard.
Never in my whole life I wake up so fucking early. Here. This is crazy.
If I would live in a country without mountains, I don't know what I would do. When you're in the mountains, all those problems seem so small. Yeah, it's really peaceful for me. I'm Aljaž Žnidaršič. I am a photographer and videographer who is taking jobs that others don't. No, I'm specialized in the areas where you have to be trained to do professional work, usually in the mountains. I grew up with parents that are mountaineers and climbers, alpinists, so it was in my blood. I didn't go for hiking for like 10 years, so after a while I went on a hike on a mountain and I was like, wow, I really fell back in love with that. And I took a photo with my phone, but it just didn't do, it didn't represent what I felt. So then I started to, I want to express, I want to show the people what I feel when I go to the mountain, and That's how it evolved. The more exposed it is, the more technical it is, the better I feel. So it is a job, but it's also a lifestyle which I really like. Every day is different, and this is what I love about my job. There were a couple of things in my career that, that elevates you to another level, or just to feel your soul, how to say. One was definitely winning on Sony National Awards. That was like kind of my first tap on the shoulder, like, hey, you're doing something right, you are on the right way. So that was one, and yeah, sometimes the clients can really make you feel good about your work. They are super happy with it, they really let you know that what you did is really extraordinary, and I think that's something that really makes you feel good, yeah. I think mountains, with all their size and glory and everything, they really make you feel small. So I think sometimes when we're struggling with things that we think they're important, that we think, oh, it's almost like the end of the world because something didn't go as planned. But when you're in the mountains, yeah, it's really peaceful for me. I had a turnaround in my life. Before, I was a mechanic. I was just working all the time, and I didn't really live my life. I was doing some parties, and that was it, And yeah, what I would give advice to people: just live to the fullest. Like, do what you love. Sometimes it's hard to survive. That's how I started it. But if you really want to do it, you can do it. You can do everything. After every year, I ask myself for New Year's Eve, what did you experience this year? Did you live your life this year, or would you, change something, or So I go by that rule: live your life.